Assalamu alaikum everyone, hope you are doing good. So in this tutorial we'll see how to build a Flutter payment app. Now if you downloaded the starter code from the link below, you'll have a project like this, and let me take you around the project structure. So over here in the images folder, you will have several images. So this would be our background image, like this one over here, and then we'll have this curve image, this one, like over here, the curve over here, and then the lines like this one over here, as well as the payment background. So this is another background image that we would be using later, and this one, and as well as we have some brand images over here, as you can see. All right, okay, so these are the images that would be using in our app. And as well as you will have this lib folder, and inside lib folder you'll have this main file. Okay, and inside lib folder you have this component folder, and within component folder you'll have these colors. So these are the colors that we'd be using throughout our app, so that's why we need them. Okay, so anyway, so these are the basic setup in our app. So what I'll do, I'll go ahead and close these images. We'll use them later. All right, okay, so now next I want to declare another folder over here. Okay, so create a directory and we'll call it pages, and within this folder we'll write our main app files, okay, or the main pages of our app. So now within it I'll declare another file, dart file. I'll call it my home page .dart. Okay, like that, that's it. Okay, now over here I'll create a stateful class, and we'll call my home page. Okay, and we need to import some of the default libraries, so let's go ahead and import them, and we should be good to go. All right, okay, so now let's take a look at this project, this image. So let's take a look at this first homepage image, and it's very important that we understand, and then it would be much easier for us to do this layout, because it's pretty complex over here. Now over here, as you can see that, so these are the few images over here as we saw earlier. So this is one image, this is the curve image, and this one is the button image, okay, or the line image, and as well as text. So as you can see from this background image or head section, that this should be positioned. We should use a positioned widget, and that's why we should wrap them around stack widget. If you want to use a position widget, then you need to have stack widget. Why we are using positioned and stack widget? That's because here our text and images, they're overlapping onto each other. So using normal column layout or row layout, we can't achieve this. So we must use a stack and position widget together, okay? And at the same time, we also want this button to be fixed at the bottom, okay? So that's why we need stack and position widget. And within it, we'll have also column widget over here, as you can see. And within column, this column would be scrollable actually if we have more items, so we'd be able to scroll them. Okay, now in this head section, definitely head section, and because of this one we'll have a position and stack widget. But at the same time, our head section is pretty complex, so our head section will have a fixed height, so that we can position everything at the certain bottom over here. So we'll have fixed height, like say around 300, and then within the stack we can position at the bottom this one, our curve, and our button over here. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So now here, this is our container in main file, but we want to import this one. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. So here I'll import my home page, okay, like this one. Okay, and just hit this reload button over here, and let's see our app, but definitely will see black because there is nothing there. Okay, all right, now instead of container over here we want to return a scaffold. So let's go ahead and do it. And scaffold will have body, because we are doing scaffold because we want to have a bar, things like that. So scaffold works much better. So now within it we'll have a container. Okay, and once again if you save it, you'll see this default screen white. Now we want to set up our background color for our app. So within scaffold we can set the background color, and now the color would be coming from our colors file, this one. So every time in our app we use certain color, we'd be using from this one, except the white color. Okay, so and we'll refer this file from other file using app color dot the color name. Okay, so that's what we would be doing, app color dot background color. Okay, so this is the one we want to use. Okay, and make sure that this color has been imported. Okay, otherwise you will get error. If it doesn't get imported, you can import it manually. Okay, all right, so now let's go ahead and save it. Okay, so our background color changed, it's a little bit gray, not that white. Okay, yeah, now as we saw earlier that we want to use stack widget. Okay, so that's what we would be doing. All right, now stack widget we want to use inside this container so that we will have better control on the height of this screen. Okay, because otherwise it will take the complete height of this screen anyway. So if you have stack widget, most probably it's better if you wrap it around a container. Okay, all right, so our container will have a child over here, and over here within it we'll call stack, and stack takes definitely children. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. And at the same time over here actually we want to declare a variable, and we'll call it h for height. So what we'll do, we'll get the height of our screen. Okay, MediaQuery.of context dot size dot height. Okay, so I'll copy paste this and we'll get the width. So with this we'll be able to get the default height and width of our screen. Okay, and later on we can use them. All right, okay, now for now we'll define container's height as h, the one is coming from here. All right, let's make sure, save it, run it. Of course no changes, and over here we might have an error. Let's see over here, this one width. Okay, perfect, error is gone. All right, now the first thing we want to declare our head section over here. Okay, and show the items and pictures, and for that one actually we will first declare a function, and within function we'll write our actual code. Okay, so we'll call the code function name head section. Okay, all right, this way we would get more organized and it's easy to navigate through the project. So if you need to change or find a certain file. Okay, now over here we'll declare our body of this function. Okay, yeah, and now here within here we'll return a container. Okay, all right, and container should have a size. Why? Because this section once again will have its own stack widget. Okay, this one will have its own stack widget, so that we will have better control. Actually we can just do it one, but for better control in case you want to change the height in future. So if you have your own another stack widget, so it will give you better control on this. Okay, anyway, so that's why we need to have this stack over here. So we'll do stack and we'll return children. But once again we learned that stack should have, for better control, you should define its own height. Okay, and that's why we are doing it. So now here we'll be doing for head section over here, for this one we'll have 310, Okay, and let's go ahead and define a color. Let's see what happens for debugging. Say red. All right, now let's go ahead and save it and see. Okay, so this is the section we want, and over here we'll put our images, things like that. Okay, now we can go ahead and just remove this. We don't need this one. All right, now within it we'll have our main background. Okay, so we'll call a function over here. So main background, let's say main background. Okay, all right, now let's go ahead and define it over here, the body, main background. Okay, and once again, because this main background should return something as a widget, because we want to display an image. Okay, so we need to use return. And now here, because we are using stack widget, so we must return over here position, because stack widget only received positioned widget or animated positioned widget, things like that. Okay, so over here would return positioned widget. Okay, and let's finish it with semicolon. All right, now over here, so our actual child should contain our image, things like that. Okay, now let's go ahead and first declare a container, and within container we'll define our image. Okay, all right, so now let's do decoration. We'll do box decoration. We are doing decoration and box decoration because we can access to image and image properties, and it would be able to show the image. All right, okay, so now we'll do image. So let's do decoration image. Okay, and image one more time. Now here we are going to asset image from our local file, so that's why we are doing asset image, not network image. And this is actually for displaying image, and this one tells you whether it is network image or local image, because we are using local image, so that's why we are going to use asset image, not network image. Anyway, now here we need to declare our first the image path, and where it is in image folder over here. I guess it's images. All right, and the image we want to refer is this one, background image. So we do background.png. all right, and let's see, now we need to come to our file over here, pop spec, and here we need to make a little bit of change, this one. So let's remove this pound sign, I guess let's call it pound, and over here, yeah, so just to remove everything else, just keep images. So this path over here should be same as this one. All right, yeah, so now let's go ahead and restart from the beginning. Okay, now it's showing up already. Okay, all right, perfect. So let's come back to our file over here, but actually this looks a bit odd, right? So we need to fix this hide and things like that. Okay, now decoration image has a property which is called fit. We'll do box fit dot would use height. So based on height we want to cover it. Okay, all right, now it looks better. Now why I was using this 300 over here, once again a container, now it should make more sense. So let's go ahead and do it 200, so it becomes much smaller. Okay, so because of this container, you have extra container within this stack. Okay, so you have much control on it, that how you want to define your image and image size, things like that. Okay, yeah, of course you could do even bigger. Okay, but we don't need that. Okay, so based on this pretty much the screen, based on this screen. Okay, all right, anyway, so now you can play around with this one. You can also do cover. Okay, so it works pretty much same, but I would like to go with the height. Sorry, I'd like to go with the cover. Let's see the contain. So it doesn't work that well, so cover pretty much fills it, everything as a cover. All right, okay, so now because of this one we have much better control. Do remember, now we have this stack widget, and the size of this stack widget is 300. Okay, you can understand it like this. So it's a 300, and the bottom is this one. Okay, so we'll have much better control for displaying other images over here. Okay, well, now next we want to show our curve image. Okay, let's click it. It's asking for some dependencies. If it has, it will download them automatically. Okay, all right, now we want to show this curve image, so let's go ahead and declare a function over here, curve image image container. Okay, now we are done with this. Now here we'll declare another we'll define this one, curve image container. Okay, and once again, because it's within stack widget, so it should return position, so we do return positioned. So let's go ahead and first define a container. And we should have this semicolon over here. And within container, once again, we want to copy this section, actually, this decoration, and copy paste. So come over here. All right. Well, what we could do, we can just change this one over here. So our image name is curve. It's in the folder. So let's go ahead and save it and see it. Okay, now it's way too big, right? Yeah. Now, of course, we can define its width and height and things like that over here. Okay, let's go ahead and declare the height over here. So we can get the height from here, MediaQuery.off context size height. Now we can use very small height over here. Okay, now this one, right? Okay, so now this height looks okay, but anyway, it went to the top. We can fix that easily because we are using positioned widget. So how do you fix it? So let's assign some properties to it. The left 0, say right 0, and the bottom, so bottom for now, so 10, or let's do 0. Let's see the result. Okay, it's pretty much over here. Okay, now we can also, as you can see, there is a slightly white section over here. We can take care of that one. So instead of 0, we can say do -2. Okay, now it's gone. Okay, now, well, it looks much better after this -2. Now what do you want to do? Let's collapse this first and collapse this one. So next we want to show this button over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. Once again, we'll first declare a function over here. We'll call it say button container. Okay, and we're going to declare it over here. Let's do it, button container, and once again it should return positioned widget. Okay, so let's return positioned widget over here. Okay, and within position widget will you return container. Okay, and we're returning container because we want to have this background color as well as this bit of shadow over here, as you can see. So we have a bit of shadow, so that's why container would help us. So we'll do box decoration over here, decoration, box decoration, and what else we could do? We could do box shadow over here. All right, so box shadow, and let's define its blur radius, so 15, and offset. So we don't want offset for X, just want a bottom at the bottom, so we do offset 0 because we don't want X section, and we just want Y section but at the bottom, so that's why 1. If you do -1, it'll do at the top. Okay, so you do 1, and over here we'll also define our offset color, shadow color. We do color this one. Okay, now let's go ahead and save it and see the result. Well, it is there, but of course our image is not there. Why? Because within decoration we also need to supply our image. So let's go ahead and do it. So we'll do here image decoration image and image, asset image, and next we'll supply our image path over here. So images, and the image file name is line. I do remember that one, lines.png. Let's make sure it's the correct one. Lines, yes. Okay, now let's go ahead and run it. Now it's way too big, and of course it's not there, right? Okay, so how to do that? So of course we can, the first thing we could do here, contain its size. Okay, well, it's too big, so we do height 60 and width 60. All right, okay, now it went at the top, right? But we do have our positioned widget. Okay, so within it, because of this one, we'll have greater control. So here we could put it down at the bottom, right? So let's do bottom 0. Now it came down to this place, and we want to set it to right. So let's do it right, and I'll do it 58. So it's right over there, right? Okay, well, with the 58 it looks much better now, but now there's this sudden change over here of the background color. Because of this one, this has some shadow, as we saw earlier. Okay, so how can we change this one? Now to change this, definitely what we could do, we could move this up at the top. So let's say 10, it went to up, but now it's too close over there, right? So we can also move that curved image a bit up. So let's find our curved image. Curved image is there. Okay, so we can also move it up 10 at the same time. But now it creates this this background image that shows up, right? So now what we could do, we could also move our background image at the top. Okay, all right, so we can move it to the higher position, the bottom section. Okay, so you could do bottom 10, but now it's gone. That's because we are changing some of the properties, but now you need at least 2 properties here, as well as some width and height over there. So we do left 0 and say, now here height we could do 300. Do remember the actual height of our head section is 310, so other 10 actually would be keeping from our shadow. Okay, so that's why we just want 300 over here, and we can also apply width over here. We do MediaQuery dot size dot width. Okay, now with this it looks much better now. Okay, now let's come to the bottom again, our button container, which is this one. Maybe we could move it up a little more again. Now it's you see that's totally has gone. Okay, perfect. So now we'll see how to create this section over here. Okay, this scrollable list over here. All right, so let's collapse our code and let's be organized. Okay, so this is our head section. Head section has these 3 functions. Okay, and head section is being called from our container over here. And over here we want to create another function which is called I'll call it, say, list builds. So these are the builds list over here, and let's go ahead and define this function. Okay, yeah, list builds. Okay, well, once again, because this is inside our stack widget, so we need to return a position widget. So do positioned. Okay, all right, and over here we'll return a container. Okay, let's put semicolon. Okay, great. Now over here, let's go ahead and run it and see. We'll see nothing changes. Okay, now I want to give this container a certain color for debugging purpose. So do colors.red so that we understand what's going on. And now the position. Now position itself should be somewhere here. So do remember, so this container over here, this is 310. So you want to put right below there. So you want to do top 320. Okay, I'll save it, see the result. Of course nothing is there because our container doesn't have width and height. So for example, height 100 for now and width say 300. So that's over here, right there. Okay, yeah. Well, now let's take a look at this design. Okay, so we want this whole thing to be, say for example, so we want this each of them should have a certain height, say 100 or 130, and then we also want to have on the left side a little bit margin. Okay, yeah, that's what we want to do. So let's do height 130, and width, we don't want width like this, we want a more dynamic width. Okay, so we do MediaQuery.of context, and whatever the width, whatever the screen width is, we'll get that one using this one, and then we do, say for example, -20. Okay, now let's go ahead and say it. It looks much better right now. Okay, yeah, perfect. So the next thing we could do, we can assign it a bit of decoration, right? So we do box decoration, and we do, say, border radius. But now, as you can see from the design, we only have radius over there, right? Yeah, on the right top and right bottom. Okay, so that's what we need to do. So we do border radius dot only. Now we'll have control for top right side. Okay, so we do top right, and now over here we do border, we do radius circular, so we do, say, 30. Now let's save it and see. Of course, because we are doing decoration, so we also need to assign the color for it. Okay, so we need to assign the color inside this. So do color, say colors dot red. For now we just do the red. Okay, perfect. And bottom right we do the same, radius circular 30. Okay, perfect. But once again, this is not the color that we want. We want actually a white color, so we do colors dot white. Okay, yes, and as you can see from the design, we also have a bit of shadow over here, so we want to apply shadow. So let's go ahead and do it. So within box decoration, we'll apply shadow, box shadow, and it's a list. We can actually put a couple of shadows if you want. So box shadow, and we do color OXFFD8 DBE0. I guess this is the color we want, and also do offset. Well, I think we just want the shadow both up and down. And now we do blur radius, say 20. Oh, let's go ahead and see. Yeah, it's looking much better. But what if we also apply spread radius? Let's go ahead and do it. Spread radius, say 10. So it's more deep now with the spread radius. Okay, so well, it's already looking much better now. Okay, now we need to understand this concept over here, because this is a pretty complex layout, as you can see. So first, before we continue coding, let's understand the concept over here. Well, definitely I can see from this image that this is a row section. Okay, so within row, this is my first section and this is the second section. So we'll have a row, and here we'll have empty space. So in our row we'll have three sections, this one and this one. And in the row itself, for first section, we'll have column layout. Okay, this would be a column layout, and then within column, actually at the top, we'll have row. Okay, this is a row, and this is the first section, this is the second section. And for the second section, once again we'll have this column layout. Okay, now the same goes over here. So this is a third section of our big row, and within it we'll have column layout. So this is the first child, and or we could do a bit different way actually. So this would be a bit annoying. So what we would do, this is a complete column, and over here we'll have white section, and this is another row within the big row. So this could be another row, and we'll have a bit of spacing. Okay, so that's what we want to do. Perfect. So we are getting there. So now let's collapse our code and be organized. Okay, so this is our container. Now what do we have? Okay, so within container we want to declare a child. So let's go ahead and do it, and child should be another container. Okay, why we are doing container? Because we can apply a bit of over here at the top margin or padding, and over here the same one over here. So left margin and top margin. So that's why we need container. All right, so let's go ahead and do it. We do margin const edge only, set top 10 and left 10, or maybe left 18. Okay, now within container, so we already have this margin and top margin. Now we want to declare a child over here, and child should be our row, as I said early. So this is a big row, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and declare children. Okay, now for children, once again, this is a column. Okay, so we do column over here, and column text children, we know it. And within column, this is a row. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and declare a row. Okay, and within the row, so we have this first image. Okay, now this image, as you can see, it is a bit of background, sorry, I mean the color as well as this border. Okay, so definitely what we have to do, we have to go with the container. Okay, yeah, container, sorry, before we put container, we need to declare our children over here. So we'll have a container. Okay, now we in the past do have a lot of containers. So what we could do over here, we can just copy this container. It'll make our life easy. So just put it there. Okay, yeah. Well, now the height is too much, right? So we need to change this height. Instead of doing say 300, because it's pretty small, so we'll do 60, and width is also 60. Okay, and what are we going to do now? Let's go ahead and save it and see. So it's there, right there. Okay, so this is this image. Of course, that's not what we want. We want an image of our brand. So brand1.png. This should be in your image folder. So let's save it. Yes, it's right there. Okay, yeah. Okay, now we also want to apply border to it. Okay, so let's do border. Okay, and border we want to apply in all sides. Okay, and border, give it width 3, and color, colors.gray. Yeah, now it's too sharp, right? So we want to have a bit of radius. So we do border radius. So border radius dot circular, so 5 pixel, or maybe 10 would look much better. Okay, so we are happy with this. Okay, so within this big row, well, as I said earlier, so this is also a row, right? So we are done with this section, so it's already looking better. And this is the container showing this one over here. So now we want to do this one, right? Okay, for this one, this is a column layout. Okay, So within the row, this is the column layout. So this is a row. So now let's go ahead and declare a column over here. We'll do children. Okay. Well, now over here, this is very interesting. We have this text. Okay. So what do? We do first text, and text name is Ken Jan Power. Okay, and let's apply style to it. We do text style. Okay, and let's see what we could do here. Say font size, say 16, and color, so app color dot main color. Okay, so these are app's main color, like this color, this, and this. Now let's go ahead and see it. Okay, it's there, but I think we need a bit of space over here, so we do sized box and say width 10. Okay, perfect. All right, and I think we also want it a bold, so we do font weight. So we do font weight. So okay, now it's looking much better. Now we can just copy this one, and for now we'll put it over here in this section, and we'll call it say ID 98, things like that. And for this one we'll use dot ID color, like that. Okay, so it does look much better now. We can also apply a bit of spacing over here to do sized box. Okay, and we are good with 10. Okay, but now we want to put them at the beginning. So over here, so this is a column layout. So this is the cross axis. So we want to start from the beginning of the cross axis alignment. So we'll start from the beginning. Okay, so it is looking better. Now let's see. So this is already there, these two sections, and now here we want to put this one. Okay, this section over here. So let's go ahead and write this thing. Well, for this one, as you see, we have this dot over here, but the dot should change according with this line. So the longer the line is, that the dot should be the same length, right? As well as if it's smaller, so the dot the total length of the dot should be smaller as well. So next we'll see how to do this section. Okay, to deal with this thing, we need to declare a special class, and the class would be in a folder. So let's go ahead and declare a folder first. We'll call it widgets. So we'll deal with different kind of widgets or customized widgets. We'll save over here. Now over here we'll declare a file. We'll call it text size.dart. Okay, now here we'll create a stateless widget, and we'll call it sized text. Okay, well, here there's one important concept that you need to understand. Let's import some library. So the concept is here, this is definitely a column layout. So what do we want to do, that this text could be dynamic. It could be too short or too long. Okay, we don't know. So first we need to find out the size of the text, and based on that size we'll draw these dots. Okay, so as longer text will have longer dots, smaller text smaller dots. Okay, but anyway, so this should be in a column layout. Okay, so now let's go ahead and declare a column first here. Okay, and the first one is definitely a text, so we do text. But now do remember, this text would be supplied from over here. Okay, so we want to receive them as a parameter. Okay, so we'll declare them at the top. We'll do final string text, and we'll also have a text color. So the color, this one, so different, this text could be actually black, green, blue, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. Okay, so you do color. Okay, now these two parameters, they need to be supplied, so they're required. We do it here, text, and this dot color. Now it would ask you to add this required. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this keyword required. Now the value that's supplied from here would be saved in this variable text, so we can use it over here. Okay, well, we have this error, sorry, I made a mistake, so we need to wrap it around the list, children list. Now you put it there, the error should be gone, and now here we can apply style over here. So for this one we can pretty much copy the same style, so let's go ahead and put it there. Okay, and for color we need to apply, or actually we can use this color from there. Okay, so this is the color will be supplied, so we can use that color. And font weight, actually we could keep the same. All right, so that's about the style itself, and we can also do other settings over here. Say for example maximum lines, so we just want one line over here. Okay, and some of the settings like soft wrap would do false, and overflow, text overflow dot clip, so we don't want text to be overflowed, that text should be wrapped or cut, things like that. Okay, so now we are done with this. So what we could do, we could go ahead and over here, so there was a column widget, so now from here we can call it, actually call this file and the related class. Okay, so the class is sized text, this one. Okay, and we can supply some parameters over here. So as you can see, the text and the color. So what we could do, we could do text, say auto pay on 24th May 18, and color, say app color dot green. Okay, so that's what we have. So now let's go ahead and run it and see the result. Well, it went over there, the reason is, okay, I understand, so we made a mistake, it's not within the row, as you can see, it should be in the column layout section. Okay, now let's sorry, it should be right below it. Okay, well, let's see, here we are also missing a comma. Okay, now let's save it. Yes, it's right there, but definitely here what we could do, we can now here, one thing we could do, we can create a space, or because this is a column layout, so we can put a property over here. So main axis alignment dot, say, space between, let's see, so it's posed at the edge, right? So now over here we can create a bit of sized box. Okay, and we'll do, okay, 5 is good. All right, okay, now, okay, with this we are good, but how about this dot over here? Okay, how about this dot? So now we are supplying this text over here. Before we go ahead and draw the text, actually we can grab the text size over here, which is size text width. Okay, now here we'll declare a function, and the function return type should be size, and function would return the value it returns will save in a variable called text size. And let's declare the function over here. Okay, now this is the function, and this function should take our text, the one that is being supplied, and as well as let's see what else. I think that's it. So we can just go ahead with this. And now, so let's go ahead and actually define the body of this function. So we'll define it over here. Okay. So the function, it should return a size. So return type is size, and the function name is text size. I think, yes, text size. And the function takes a parameter which is a string type, the actual text we'd be using. Okay, and of course we need to have return type, and for now we're not returning anything. Okay, all right. Now, how to get the text width? To get a text width, we need to use a special class which is called TextPainter. Okay, so we do TextPainter. Sorry. Okay, now TextPainter itself takes some properties. The first one is a text. Okay, well, this text and this text should be the same. I mean, whatever you apply, but before you give it to the text property, it needs some changes and information to be supplied to Flutter using another class which is called TextSpan. Now we also need to pass this text to TextSpan class. So we do text. Okay, at the same time we also need to supply style. Okay, the style we want our text should have. So for this one, we can just copy paste this one over here, and let's put it there, and I think it's okay. So this is the text span. So TextPainter takes TextSpan, which itself takes text itself, and the style. The style is important because style, as you see, has a font size. If this font size is bigger, definitely the text width is bigger, right? So that's why it's very important. All right. Now TextPainter takes some of the properties. So the other one is maximum lines. In our case, we just want one line, things like that. And also text direction LTR from left to right. Okay, yeah. Now to be able to actually get this text width, we need to access another method of this TextPainter class. To access that directly, we can use two dots, and then the method is called layout, and within layout we need to mention mean height, mean width, and max width. Okay, so we do mean width is 0, minimum could be 0, and max width could be anything or any kind of length, so we'll do infinity. Okay, now within this, from here, it will return an object. That object will have size parameter, okay, or the size property. All right, now we need to save it. So we need to save it in a variable. So we'll declare a variable of type TextPainter. Okay, so the variable name is TextPainter. Okay, so it returns an object. That object is saved over here, and this object will have size property. So now here we can actually return TextPainter.size. Okay, like that. So it's a lot of work here, right? Or actually maybe not. It takes the text. You need to pass the text to TextPainter, and TextPainter itself pass it to TextSpan class, which takes the style. Style is very important to know the width, the actual width. Okay, and then we also need another method which is called layout from this one. Okay, we're accessing it using two dots. All right, so now once we call it from here, the text size should have the size, or in our case I would say the width. Okay, yeah, so the size is being returned. So now it should have, this one should have width and height, both of them. Okay, so we can access them later. Anyway, so now it has this size thing, so we can go ahead and use it. So earlier we declared this class has a column because we want to show the text and the dots right there. Okay, so we need a column property. So now here, as you see, so there are many dots, so the dots are in a row. Okay, so now here we need a row widget. Okay, perfect. Okay, so within row we'll have a for loop, and within for loop we'll run like this: int I equals 0, and I is less than what? This text size. Okay, text size dot width by 5 and I plus plus. I'll explain why this is by 5. Okay, and after that we can return a container over here. Container. Okay, and container width should be 5, and the color should be the color that is being passed. Remember, we have a color over here. Okay, and height, say 2. Now you can ask, what the heck is this 5 over here? You understand that the container, so each of the dots over here, they're a container, and the length is 5, right? Okay, and also has a height of 2. So what we are doing here, do remember this text size has the width. So it means, say for example, the width is returned, say for example, width is returned 100, okay, or maybe 50. Okay, so now, so this is total 50, say for example. Okay, now once we divide it by 5, so what do we get? We get 10, right? Divided by 5 equal 10. So that means that we'll have 10 of these dots. So that's why we have this 5 over here. Okay, and of course the container itself has width of 5. Okay, yeah, so that's why we are dividing it. Whatever the width is returned, because we want to each of this container should have width of 5. Okay, yeah, hopefully it makes sense. All right, so now what we can do, we can go ahead and run it. Let's see. So but this is not what we expected. Well, actually it's really drawing it there, but because the color is always the same color. Okay, so we can keep track of this index over here. So we could do I is even. If I is even, then we use this color. Otherwise we use a different container and different color. Okay, if it's odd, then instead of using this color, we could do colors.white. Of course you need to import the library. Now let's save it. Perfect. Okay, now it's looking much better. So this is the green color, then we have this white container over here, then the green one. Okay, all right, now let's create a bit of distance over here. So we do size box, and we do height 5. Okay, so it's already looking much better now. Okay, perfect. Well, next we'll see how to design this section. Okay, well, to do this section, first we need to come to our file over here, and within this file, okay, don't get lost. So find your column, the first column over here. So within the row, so this was our first column. Now we want this section, but do remember, so there are 2 sections here, so this should be a row. Within the row, this is the first column and this is the second section. Okay, so this is a row section. Okay, so here we are done with this column, so this is the column actually we did. Now over here we'll define another row. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. We'll do row. Okay, and then we'll do children. All right, okay, so within children we have this is as a column, so we'll do column, Okay, and so we're good now, but within the column, so this is the first container. Okay, this has to be a container because it has border and things like that. Okay, and background color. So definitely we need to define a container. So you do container, give it width, say 80, and say height, say 30. And okay, once again, I think I forgot the list. I'm sorry. Children list. Okay, perfect. Now it will have decoration, box decoration, and as you see, it will have border. So we'll apply border to it. Border radius dot circular. So we would do border of 30. Okay. And of course it has color, so you do app color dot let's see, select background. So this is the color coming from our color file. Okay, then now let's go ahead, save it. Yeah, it's there. Okay, all right, and well, now this is done. So we want to show the text in it. So the text could be our child. Okay, so we do text and we'll call it select, and over here we'll apply style. Okay, we'll do text style and say font size, say 16, and what else? Font color, right? So we'll have color. So we do app color dot select color. This one, let's go ahead, save it, and see the result. Okay, it is there, but not in the middle. So we want to wrap it in the middle. So we'll wrap it around center widget. So no, it is wrapped around center widget. Okay, now let's save it and see the result. Okay, perfect. So it's already looking like this, but now it's at the end, right? Okay, so what can we do with this one? So here this is a row, and this row is within this big row, right? This is the big row. So here there is a property we can use. So for row, this is the main axis alignment. So we can use a property, main axis alignment dot space between. So I believe, so this would push it to the edge, right? And that's what it is doing. Don't worry, it looks a bit weird, but we'll take care of that one soon. Okay. Okay, so now we have this column over here. Okay, within column we have this, our first container. This is the container, and now we need to draw these two sections. Okay, yeah, but they're just text. Okay, so we could do it. Now to do the text, actually we can just copy paste from here directly, and let's collapse it. Now come over here. Okay, and we can put it, all right, and over here this time definitely we have this dollar sign. So for example 1248.00, okay, like that. Okay, and this time we want say font size to be 18, and we also want a font weight. Okay, and font weight dot 9 W900. Okay, so that's what we want to use. Okay, and let's save it and see the result. Okay, it is there. We're getting there. Okay, and now for this one we want to change the color. We want to do main color. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we have another text down there, so let's go ahead and just copy paste. All right, now here we would say due in 3 days, and we don't want so much bold over here. Maybe we just want 700, and let's save it. Okay, and font size, say we do 14. Okay, perfect. Okay, now as you see over here, So there's a space here, so we can apply the space. So let's see if we can do a white spacing over here. So do container. Now let's save it and see the result. So well, it's already looking much better though. All right, but now it goes to the bottom at the end, right? Well, now it came down so much to the bottom, so we can here use a sized box. Sized box. Sorry. So what do? We do height, say for example 10. Yeah, it's looking better. Okay, so this section is okay, but of course we don't want the color. We don't want the main color. We can also change the color. We can use let's see what color we have. What else we have here? I think we can go ahead with ID color. Okay, so we do ID color. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now everything is working fine. We are in this row, okay, and this is the other row and the column. Okay, so once again, so this column is this one and this row is this one, right? But of course, as we have row, so within the row, this is the first column. Now if you see the design, we also need to put this one. Okay, so we can put it right there. So to do that, we can declare a container. Okay, and container definitely, as you understand, width and height. So do width 5 and say height for now do 35, and we do decoration and box decoration once again. All right, and border radius. Okay, so we want only the left top and left bottom should have border radius. Okay, so that's why we do border radius dot only. Okay, so we do left, top left here, radius dot circular, so 30, and once again left, which is bottom, radius dot circular 30. Okay, and we also need to assign the color, so we do color app color dot half oval, which is this one over here. This is the half oval color. So let's go ahead and save it. Yes, perfect. So we are already seeing it there. Okay, now well, it's too close, so I think it's still okay. But now here we need to apply a bit of spacing. Okay, so remember this is in a row, so here we could do sized box. Sorry, sized box. So we could do width. All right, say 5. Yes, now it's looking much better. Okay, well, the other thing is that about this, we all want to align over here from the beginning within this column. So find our column. So this is the column. Sorry, this is the column. Okay, now within this column, we could do over here. So this is the cross axis for column. So do cross axis alignment dot start. Okay, now it's looking better. Okay, perfect. So that means over here this column is this one and this row is this one. Okay, perfect. Well, now we can repeat this widget over here to draw more of them. Okay, well, now take a look over here. So this is the actual widget that's showing us this one. Okay, so now we can put this one in a column a few times. So let's do column and children. Okay, all right, within list bills, and I'll copy it over here and run it and make sure that yes, it's running well. And now I'll copy it one more time. Now let's see. This is showing up. I'll copy it one more time and it's showing up as well. But now we have this bit of spacing over here that we can take care. Now if you come over here, we can apply a margin, okay? So you could do const edge insets top, say 20. Now I'll copy paste this one for each of them, and over here the same. Okay, perfect. So this is more like the design that we have seen already, right? So everything is working as expected. And we can also verify that this text based on the text line and width, this dot changes. For example, if we come down to this one over here, the last container, and if we open up the column, and over here, say we change auto pay next week. All right. Okay, so let's run it. Yes, it changed. You see the width and text both changes at the same time at the dot. And we can also use a color over here. Okay, so we can use a different color. So we could do colors.gray, and it changes automatically. So it means pretty much things are working as we expected. But well, now here I have hard coded this container 3 times, but that's not what we want. Okay, we don't want to hard code things like that. So we want to, based on number of items we have, then based on that we want to render it, because in future we'll see how to read this data from our server. Okay, so this is to be a tutorial where the data eventually comes from server. All right, so based on that we want to change things. All right, okay, so now here we'll undo what I've done so far. So let's go back to the original state. Let's undo it. Okay, yes, we are good. One more time. Yes, so this is our original state of the code. Okay, perfect. So what we want to do, we want to run here, wrap it around a list builder, so it would help us to build it automatically. Okay, so let's collapse it. Now on Mac I would do option enter, and this is for Android Studio though. I think for Visual Studio you could do on Mac option dot for Visual Studio. For Android Studio on Mac, option enter, and then you'll see this option. Okay, so I select the first one, and then here I write ListView.Builder. This builder actually, it takes a function. So the function is taken into the property which is called item builder. So over here it takes a function with the context, but we are not supplying any context. Whatever the context is available is that one, and return. Okay, over here. So we want to return this section, this one. All right, make sure that we are good, and let's see this position. Okay, yes. So over here we want to return what? Well, it's a bit of ugly situation right now, right? So that's because of this this child property. Remove it and you should be good to go. And now of course our code looks a bit messy. So if you're on Mac, you can do option command L, and it will rearrange your code beautiful way. Okay, so now it's much better, as you can see. All right, so now come back to this section once again. Over here we have mistake and we are returning, so we need to have this semicolon. Now this loop would run infinitely. Okay, so let's go ahead and run. now it's gone. Most probably we need more of them, because once you use a list builder within position widget, I think it needs this properties like left 0 and right 0 on the bottom 0. Now let's run it. Yes, it showed up. And if you remove this one, this list is infinitely scrollable list. Okay, yeah. So another thing you need to remember, if you use list builder inside position widget, you must need to set up all the property. Just one property doesn't work anyway. So I'll put it back. So we want to run it only 3 times. But now here the same problem that happened earlier. So we want to assign a margin over here. So let's do margin. So we do const edge inserts only top 20. Now these margins are okay, but here apart from 20 we have a lot of extra margin. Now this margin is coming from list builder, so we need to remove well, it's not really margin, it's a padding. List builder has a padding inside for the beginning item, so we need to remove that. So once again, with the option enter on Mac, and in VS Code Mac you do option dot, and then you'd get this option here, widget. Select this one, and here we'll use a new widget. We'll call it MediaQuery.removePadding, this one, and it takes a property, it's called remove top. We do true, and it also takes another property, context. So just apply context over here, and now let's save it. Yes, perfect. So that extra padding is gone. All right, well, now with this, let's see. So we have this top margin, so let's try to apply left margin. So sorry, right margin. We'll do another 20. Okay, perfect. So it's working as we expected. Okay, so far so good. So now next part of this item is this one. So this let's create this button. Okay, well, we want to create a reusable button. Okay, because further down this app we need to use or create this kind of button again and again. So that's what we want to do. To do that, here within widget we'll create a new file. We'll call it large buttons.dart. Here we'll create a stateless class. We'd call it app large button. Okay, yeah. Well, this button, for this button, we need to import some of the libraries. Okay, now a few things that we must need to know. This button is reusable, so we need to provide some additional parameters from where we call it, because in different situations it will have different look and color, fill and color. So we want to take care of some of these variables and declare them now. Here we do final color, and we do background color. So we'll call the color name background. And once again we have this one because this is optional, so this button will have a default color. Next we define the text color. As you can see, there is a text, so the text color is also optional, so we do text color. Next we do, well, the button is clickable, so there'd be an on tap function, so we do on tap function over here. And so the function would be supplied or given from where it is called, like from here for now. Okay, and we'll also have another boolean variable. Okay, and is border, so whether the button should have border or not. Okay, and what else? Let's see, I think we're good for now. So now we need to use all of this over here within the constructor. So we do this dot background, sorry, this dot background, this dot text color, this dot on top, this dot is border. Okay, well, now for is border the default value is false, and for background color we can also assign a default color. So we do default color app color dot main color, so which is this default color. Okay, and what else? I think we also need the text itself. We have the text color, but we don't have the text itself, so we do string text. Okay, and over here this dot text. Now the text itself must be supplied by the caller function, the one calls it. Okay, yeah, apart from that I think we are good to go. So now over here, what is this? So this is going to be a button, right? So button is clickable, so that's why we'll use over here, we'll return gesture detector. Gesture detector. Of course it takes ontap function. Now ontap function is this one, the one would be called, and what else? So it has this child. Now for child, once again we'll use container, and over here we'll have decoration, box decoration, and we'll have border radius dot circular. We'd use a 10. Now this is a border radius, and button will also have a border. In this case this button doesn't have. In future we'll see we use other button, so that button will have a border. Okay, so we can use the border over here. So border dot all, we'll use border everywhere, and border width say 2, and color. So border color is app color dot main color, so the color is this one. What else? And well, so far we're good. And we also want to use a text. Okay, so for container we'll use a child, and the child should be text. Okay, and the text is being given from here. The one would be called and saved here, so we can use this text. Okay, yes, let's see, and we can also use a style. We do text style, and the font size say, well, 50, and what else? Color. So the color is this text color. The color function will give us text color. I think so far we are good, and we can also use font weight here. Font weight dot bold. All right, okay, so we are good now. So let's call this function, this class, from here. Okay, so let's come over here. Let's look at our file and the main file. So we have this head sections, which is this one, and we have this list bills, which is this one. So over here we can call another function, would say pay button. All right, and we can actually define it here. So pay button. Okay, yeah, now of course this button should be returned as a positioned widget. Okay, and within this position widget, the child, so the child should be our actual button, the button we have declared over here. So we'd call app large buttons, this one, and now it takes a text. You must apply text. You'd say pay all bills. All right, and as we are returning, we should have this semicolon. So pay buttons. Let's see, pay, well, buttons. So remove this S. All right, okay, Now let's go ahead and save it. Well, now it's at the top. That's what we not want. We want it at the bottom. So here, what we could do over here, position widget, right? So we could do bottom, say 10. All right, well, it's there. And let's see what else over here. So now this is not that good looking, so we need to change the background color. So let's see, we have this background color which is main color, our main color. So background color should be assigned to box decoration, right? So color, so we do background color. Now let's see. But now, well, the text color should be white. So here we can do text color, colors.white. Okay, it's looking much better now. And also the size, it's let's see what else. Instead of doing bottom 15 10, we could do, let's say 20. Yeah, it looks better. What else? I think we can also, in the container, we can use width and height. Okay, so height 60, and we can also assign width over here. So we do MediaQuery.off context dot size dot width. Now we want to keep some space left and right, like over here 30, over here 30. So this will put in the middle. Okay, so minus 60, 30, 30, minus 60. All right, yeah. Now the text itself is not in the center, so what we could do, we could do center. So center widget. Okay, perfect. Well, now this is still not in the middle. Okay, well, this is still not in the middle. So what we could do, we could come here in the container itself over here. We could apply margin. So const add inset, so left 30. Do remember we already did 60, right? Minus 60. The reason, because we are going to apply this one, left 30 and right 30. Okay, now it will put in the middle. Okay, well, it's looking better, but the text are, I guess, way too big. So we can change the text size. Let's see, the text size is where it is 50, so let's do 40. Yes, this is looking much better now. Okay, well, for now we don't apply on tap event, which is this one. We'll do it future. Okay, so well, next we want to see, once we click on this one, it should pop up a button. But before that, actually, let me show you one interesting thing. Now this is a fixed one, right? So over here, instead of 3, we could do 5, and we'll see it's still at the top and fixed. Okay, and this section is scrollable. Okay, hopefully it makes sense. But now for good looking, we'll just do 3. It looks good with this, right? Well, in future we'll see how to read this data from server. But anyway, now we'll focus on this tab button over here. Well, to work on this button, first we need to wrap our button container over here. Within the button container, this container, actually this is the container, which is this one. To make it clickable, we need to wrap it around gesture detector. That's what we will do. So right here, gesture detector. Okay, well, of course gesture detector takes on tap event. So once we click on this one, we want to show an overlay, and that overlay would be like this. Okay, it would show up like this one from bottom to top, and then we'd be able to click on this, cancel it. Once we cancel it, we go back to this one. So once again, we click on this overlay would show up, and it will have this kind of UI, and we click on this, it would be gone. Okay, that's what we want to do. All right, okay, so to do that, we need to use a model in Flutter that is shipped out of the box, which is called showModalButtomSheet, this one. All right, well, now this has builder, so whenever you see builder in Flutter, in general it takes a function. Okay, so we'd use build context and BC, and I think that's it. Okay, well, now make sure that you have this semicolon. Right, now you have to return something, so let's return. For now we'll return a container. Okay, all right, okay, and what else? Let's see, this show modal bottom, it has okay, anyway, so before I talk further, let's go ahead and run it, and let's click on this one, and it showed up, right? And now it has two color. This is called background color, and this is called barrier color. Okay, all right, so we can set them. Say background color, we do colors.gray with opacity 0.5, and let's see. Okay, yeah, so it's working. So this is our gray background color, and this is called barrier color. All right, of course we can set barrier color, say colors.gray with opacity 0.8. all right, so let's run it. Yeah, so this is 0.5, this is 0.8. okay, over here. So we can play with this value. So definitely the barrier color, we want it transparent, as you can see from the picture. So barrier color should be transparent. We'd be able to see the background. Okay, yes, so we do colors.transparent. okay, so let's see, close it, run it again. Yes, transparent. Now we need to play around this height. This height should come up to this place. Okay, yeah. Now you could go ahead and define height of a container. So let's do it. Say 800, and say width. Well, width we don't need to worry about though. This default is complete width. So anyway, so let's go ahead and check it. Now this height is not taking effect. That's because I think we need to set up some other properties, which is called one of them is called is scrollable. Okay, so is let's see, I think we also have another type here, which is called dynamic. We need to set it, and then is scrollable, or is scroll control, and we need to set it to true. Now let's say and run it. So it becomes a bigger height. Okay, so if you don't set this and this, the height of show model bottom sheet wouldn't work. It would just stick to the default one. Okay, so anyway, but we don't want so much height. We want up to here. So how to find this height? So we'll have this total height minus this amount of height. So that's how you get it. So we do MediaQuery.off context.size.height minus 240. So this amount of space up to here, 240. Okay, now let's save it. Now see it. Perfect. Okay, yeah, well now that's 240 for that one. So actually, well, so far so good, but let's continue. Let's see. As we go ahead, I'll explain more. So now here, well, as you see from the design, okay, actually our model should come up to here, but this part is once again completely transparent, and from here it started to become gray. Okay, so how to do that? Now this part is a bit tricky. For this one, we need to use another stack widget. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and see our stack widget. So I would stack widget as a child. Now it takes children. Okay, well, now the first one is, once again, we know stack widget takes positioned widget. Okay, so over here would return positioned widget. Okay, and now here we'll have a container. Let's see. Okay, well, for container we could use default height here and width here. So we do width MediaQuery.off context dot size dot width. Okay, width doesn't matter. Now the height. Okay, well, how far this height should go? Let's see. What we could do here, we could do colors dot red. Okay, all right, let's save it, run it. So this is the color. So what means that? Means that actually this one we could also come up to say 300. Okay, so it's going up. So the bottom is not there. So I think we need to set up this bottom property. So what do? We do say bottom 0. Close it. Okay, so now it's coming from bottom. So now do you see it? So this is 300. Okay, this container size. I mean, sorry, the height. Height is less than this one. So this is becoming red, and the gray one is the parent one. Okay, so the parent container within our show model bottom, it is the highest height. Height is up to here, from bottom to here, and it has a background color. And what is the background color? The background color is this one. Okay, 0.5 opacity. Now as a child, I put another widget, and that's a container. Now this is a different height. So what this tells us? This tells us that our background color, actually we can remove it. Okay, over here. So we can make it say colors dot transparent. Okay, so let's close it. Right, so that's gone. So actually it is up to here, but we don't see that. Okay, like if you click here, it doesn't go away, it is still there. But if you click here, it goes away. All right, yeah, now if you click on, it comes back. All right, perfect. So now what we can do, so this section, actually we could make it gray. All right, this section we could make it gray, so instead of red, so that we can see the background. Okay, hopefully it makes sense. So we can use a different color now. We do OX FF EE F1 F4, and let's save it. Yeah, so it's coming there. Now we need to use opacity 0.7. Yeah, so you are able to see it. So the actual model is show model is coming up to here, but this is our child. Okay, so our child is coming up to here, so we are still able to see that, right? Perfect. Okay, now next we'll see how to show these 3 buttons. Okay, now we can also use them once again as our positioned widget. Okay, we'll put them right over there. Okay, yeah. So let's go ahead and see, where is it? Well, I guess this is one position widget. So right next to it, we can declare another position widget, and here we'll have child. Once again, we'll have container. Okay, all right. Now here the container will have width and height, right? Okay, so let's do it. So we do width 60 and say height 250. Do remember, so this is the width and this is the height right now. Okay, so that's what we want to do. All right, and what else? And we also want to do box decoration, so that we'll have beautiful border. Box decoration, border radius dot circular. Now here, so let's say 29. All right, yeah, and it should have a background color. Color app color dot or main color. So that's what we want to use. Let's save it, run it. No, yes, so it showed up, but it's on the left. We want it on the right. So let's change the position. Let's change the default position. So we want to set it to the right 0, and yes, it's showing up, but it's too much to the left. So we could do 58. All right, so same as its position, so their position should be same. This button position was on the right, left as well. If you go ahead and check the code, so let's save it. Yes, perfect. So it's overlapping right there. Okay, and how about the top? Let's see, top 0, how it works. Okay, yeah, top. Well, I guess we are good with this. It looks okay. All right, yeah, so that's it. So it's working, right? Okay, perfect. So next, what do we want? We want to show this items over here, this button items. Okay, and to do that, we need to actually declare a reusable component, reusable buttons. Okay, because these 3 buttons, we don't want to write a lot of code. We'll write one code and use them again and again. And to do that, actually here we can declare another file, and we'll call it buttons.dart, and here we'll declare a class, stateless class, and we'll call it app buttons. Okay, now over here, definitely, okay, let us import the libraries, but we don't want to return a container because we want the button to be clickable. Okay, so what do we want? We want a gesture detector. Okay, yes. Now gesture detector will have onTap function as well as child. Okay, for now child I would do container. Okay, now let's see over here what we can do here. So this button should be reusable. So the one who calls this button should give its text icon. Well, there are a lot of icons here, as you saw already. Icon color, background color, icon size, and some text color, like the text as well. Okay, so a lot of this thing should be coming from our function that calls it. Okay, so they should be saved over here in the construction, and we'll use it during the initialization. So let's go ahead and declare some variables over here. So double would do font size, so that means it's optional, and we do icon data because we'll pass icon, so icon, and we'd also pass onTap event. Okay, so function onTap. What else? Background color, background color, and let's see, color, icon color. Okay, let's make all of them optional apart from this one. You must have an icon. For others, we'll use a default value. So we'll use text color. Okay, we're good. Now we need to put all of them here, otherwise we'll get error. As you can see, it's being cranky. So we'll start with font size. This font size, okay, well, we might have a default font size. Let's see, default font size, we can do say 20, okay, and we'll have text color, this dot text color, and text color should be app color dot main color for now, and we'll have icon and icon color, this dot, let's see, icon color equal colors dot white. Need to import libraries, let's do it, and we'll have background color, so background color app color dot main color, and what else, so we'll have this dot, we also need to have text actually, so final string text. Now text is a compulsory, not optional, so that's why we don't use this one, so text. And what else, let's see, required, okay. Now we also have this icon, this dot icon. Now we also need a required, okay, text color, icon color, I think we're good, font size, and also the untap function, okay, untap. So let's remove it. Okay, so we are good to go. And how about this button constructor, how to construct them? Now if you see from this one, so actually this, most of these buttons, they have this icon as well as the button name, okay. All right, once again it should be clickable, right? Okay, that's why we have this gesture detector. Now the button should have a column layout, okay, so that's what we would do. And now here we can pass on tap, error should be gone, and here we have a column layout. Within column we'll have children, let's see, yes, children, okay. Now the definitely first one is the container for the icon itself. We do width 40, height 40, and decoration, box decoration, okay, border radius, we should be pretty familiar with them right now, and color, it's a background color, the color we pass, and what else, okay, well for now this is the icon background, and now as a child we'll have icon here, and now icon is being passed from the color function as it is received here as you see, okay. And for the icon itself there should be a size, okay, say size 30, it's a fixed size, and color, icon color, so you would use icon color, okay. So that's it, so that's for this let's see, this icon, okay. Now how about the text? But look, this over here we don't have any text for it, right? So this is optional, so this text could be null, okay, yeah, so the text may not be provided, okay, so we can actually do optional over here, not this one, because text is not necessary, sorry. So the text could be null because that means optional. Optional means you may provide, you may not provide, but as you see here we also don't have a default value for this. So if we don't provide, it's totally null, right? If we provide, we'll have that text. So that's what we want. So now we want to use the text over here. We'll see if there is a text, we'll use it. If there is no text, we'll just use an empty container. Okay, so let's check on the text. text is not equal null, then we'll use a text, whatever the text is given. So this is the text widget, and this is the text which is coming from here, as you see. All right, okay. Otherwise, we'll use empty container. Okay, yeah. Now let's see, because it could be null, so that's why this operator here, you need to use it. Tell the compiler that it could be null, and if it's null, don't crush the app. All right, now definitely we can use some styles here. So text styles, okay, say font size 12, 14, I think that's good. And the color, text color, this one. I think we're good. Okay, so now we can go ahead and use this. All right, so let's come over here. So this is our second position widget within this stack, within our show model bottom sheet over here. So now over here we had a container, and this container is issuing this. Now the container needs a child. Okay, so we'll do child over here, and child, definitely you understand that it should be column. Sorry, it should be, yes, it should be column. Okay, now it takes children over here. Now children, so now we can use our buttons over here. Okay, that should be app buttons, this one. Okay, so only required one is icon, as you can see here. So others are optional, so that's why you just see icon. Okay, so anyway, what icon you want to use over here? So we do icons dot, let's see, can we have cancel or not this icon? Yes, we have this one, so it is cancel. And what else we can use? Say background color. So for background color, actually I can use it here. So icon color, app color dot main color, this is the icon color, and we'll have text color. So app color, well, in this case we are not going to really use this one, but the text color, the first one, because we will not have any text, but I'll copy paste this 3 times, so I'm writing this one anyway because we need this later. Okay, so we do colors dot white, but the first button is not useful because there would be no text. Anyway, let's say background color, colors dot white, and say what else? Now we also want on tap event. Now for this one we'd use Navigator.pop, and we'll just pass the context. Within this one we can cancel the modal. Okay, so that's what we'd be able to do. And we need to put here this one, this semicolon, otherwise we'll get an error. So let's go ahead and save it. Now let's click over here, and here we go. So this is our first one, right? Yes. Okay, well, it doesn't look that great because of the top position. Maybe we can fix it. Let's see how we fix it. Well, either we can put a margin over here. So const edge inserts only top, say 5. Now let's rerun it. Yes, it looks a bit better now. So now we can copy paste this one 3 times, then we'll have 3 buttons. Okay, and of course for others, for now we don't have any on tap event, so we're removing the on tap. But at the same time, here we want to apply text for it. Okay, we do text, add bill, this one, And the third one, text history. Okay, now let's go ahead, save it once again, run it from the scratch. Okay, well, it's not the best looking, but it's working. Okay, it's getting there. Now there are a few other things that we need to take care. Now this is column property. Here we could do main axis alignment dot space between, so it will have even space, I guess. So okay, yes, so it is this even space around this container, but now it's pushing too much to the end. Okay, well, it's pushing too much to the end. Well, instead of actually applying margin, let's apply padding. We don't want margin, we want padding. And I think it would also fix this issue over here. Okay, yes, and now over here, this one, so let's do bottom, say bottom 25. Let's save it. Yes, it's looking much better now. And definitely we can also change the icon color. So over here, this one, instead of icon cancel, we could do add, and instead of this one, we could do history. Okay, let's save it. Now run it. Okay, so it's perfect, it's working much better. But now as you see, this also works. Why? Because we are passing this Navigator.pop context. So with this, you can cancel out your show a model bottom sheet like that. Okay, perfect. So actually, so far everything is looking great. Okay, but the home page is also missing another section, like this big text. So we'll see how to draw this big text. Well, to be able to show this big text over here, what we can do, we can come to the head section, and over here within head section we can declare another function, and we'll call it text container. Okay, yeah, definitely we need to define this function, so we'll do it here, text container. Okay, oops. Okay, now what do you want to return? Definitely we can return positioned widget, but if you see that they are also overlapping on each other, so you might think that we can actually return two position widget, and that should do the work though. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. Now here, how do we return two position widget? But definitely we can return, well, now you can think of also another solution, that just come here and do two position widget. Actually that wouldn't work. Okay, yeah, that's because this container doesn't really have, it has height but it doesn't have width. Okay, you can actually, we can do it here first and we'll see. Okay, let's see position. Well, now we're just going to show the text, right? So we can just write it like this. Okay, let's see, it's missing text. So my bills. Okay, I guess my bills. Okay, and over here we'll apply style. We'll do text style, and font size, it would be big font, so let's do 50, and font weight dot bold, we'll use bold over here, and we could do colors dot white. Okay, now let's go ahead and run it and see what happens. Yeah, well, now the first thing is that null, that's because this one. Now go ahead and run it. Okay, well, okay, it's up there, right? Okay, So can we go ahead and declare another widget? Okay, so let's copy paste this one. Okay, now this time the font size should be much bigger, so 70. By the way, with this one actually we can also set up the position, right? So we do left 40 and top say 80. Okay, all right, and let's save it. Yeah, it showed up. Now this one, for this one, let's do left 0 and top 100. Okay, and the color is actually, instead of colors to the white, we can use a different color, a little bit like as you see here. It's kind of gray. It looks like gray color, right? So we can use that one. So we would do OXFF293952. So let's run it. Okay, well, now I think we need to change the swap of this containers. Okay, positioned widget. So let's swap their order. Now let's run it. Okay, now it looks much better. But now here, actually, we don't want it like this. Okay, we don't want to return it from here. So I just cut it from there. You can do the same. Now here we want to return it. Okay, so how do you return? Well, now can we return, say, a stack widget? Let's see, children. And within stack widget, I put this 2 position widget, the one I cut there, and now this one, which was being called from head section. Okay, now let's run it and see. So it looks like it works. Okay, so this is pretty much the same design we saw early over here. Okay, so everything is working as we wanted. All right, okay, so next we'll see, once you click on this one, it will go to a pay bill page where it'll show that you are paying the bill. Okay, well, to do that, first definitely we need to create a new page. So over here we'll do a new file and we'll call it payment page.dart. Now here we want to declare a stateless widget and we'll call it payment page, and instead of container we'll return scaffold. Okay, and here actually we can declare some variables, and actually we can copy it from there, this too. We'll really use it over here. Okay, H and W for width and height. Okay, now if we take a look at our payment page is this one, so it should look like this. Well, now this is a background image, actually this one and this one, the white one, that together is a background image. So we have the image there. All right, so we want to put the background image in a container. From here, actually, let's find our head section, main background, and we can kind of copy this. It would save us a lot of time from writing. We'll do here body section. Now we'll directly put our container, but definitely this is not the background image name. So what is our background image name? Payment background. Okay, so I'll just do payment background. All right, yeah. Okay, and now here's another thing. We want to click on this app over here. So Now we don't have this mechanism yet, but we can go ahead and build it. So over here, instead of calling my home page, we can call it payment page. Okay, the one we just created over here. Right, now we'll run our app. Okay, so while it's there and it's kind of weird. Okay, so for this one, the width and height, actually we can change. So the height should be the height of this screen. So we want our image to take the whole screen height. Okay, and width should be W, the one we grabbed early at the top. Okay, now let's go ahead, save it, and see the result. Okay, now this is the image, actually background image we had already. Instead of cover, actually I would like to do fill. It wouldn't really make a big difference though, but I prefer to go with fill. All right, okay, now it's good. Now over here we can declare a child, and the child would have column. Why we're doing that? Because these are all in column format, so on the top of each other. Okay, these are all column, no position widget over here. All right, okay, so definitely first thing we want to show this image, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. So we need to have the list, and over here we'll have a container once again, and container should have width, so double.max infinite, xfinite I guess, and a height. Well, what's the height? Now we want this to be dynamic. Okay, so based on screen position it changes, I mean screen size, because you might have a smaller screen. So if you have height divided by multiplied with the proportion, so it will take the height, and based on that height it will give you a new height. So pretty much on every device it will look the same. Okay, so that's why we are doing this thing. Okay, all right, now once again we can copy this one and put it right there. Okay, and this image name is success, I know it. So let's go ahead and run it and see the result, but it went to the top. We don't want it. So we can actually what can we do over here? Now this is a container, you remember, right? So within the container actually we can create a padding. So we'll do padding. Okay, and const edge insets. So padding, so the image is there, so from the image we'll create padding, so it'll come everything inside. So we'll do say top 80. Okay, perfect. Why I'm doing 80? Because I know this from here to here the distance is 80, so it is coming down. And so left 20 and the right 20. Now it looks much better. Okay, or even actually we could do say, well, now we don't need to change this one. The thing we could do the change over here. So instead of fill, now we do fit width. Let's see how it works. Okay, perfect. So it's based on width, it's doing the changes, so it looks pretty good right now. Okay, perfect. So with the first part of the design we are done. Now we'll do this one. Okay, this to text. Well, as you can see, these two text are pretty easy. All we need to do use text property. Now what we did early over here within position widget, the text we can just copy paste. Okay, so we'll put it over there. Now definitely we don't want so much big. Maybe we could do 20. Instead of my bills we would do success, and instead of color this one, we would do app color dot main color. Okay, let's go to save it and give it a shot. Well, 20 is too small, so let's do 30. Yes, it's looking better. Okay, now we can go ahead and copy this one more time and put it right there. Now what it says, payment is completed for 2 bills, so that's what we would do. Well, in future this would be dynamic. Once we do the second part, payment is completed for 2 bills. Let's go ahead and save it. Yes, but it's way too big, so let's do 20. That's perfect. Now we don't want bold like this. Maybe we could do a different bold, say 600. And the color, we don't really want the main color, we want the ID color, which is a little gray. Okay, which is looking much better. I think we're good for now. And now we're gonna have to work on this issue. Okay, and how to work. Actually, previously we worked on this list thing, list builder thing. So that's how we want to build it. But this should be in a container. Okay, this should be in a container. So let's go ahead and first define our container, and we'll do width and height. Say height 160 and width say 350. All right, and definitely we'll have box decoration. I'm sorry, what happened here? Border radius dot circular. So we want 10, and we want to have border, right? So border dot all. Now it will have width 2 and colors dot gray with opacity say 0.5. Let's save it and see. Well, it's looking good. It's too close to the upper section, so you could do sized box over here, and we'll do height and h dot 0.05. Oops. Okay, so it gives us enough space. Okay, or maybe we could do 4.5. All right, yes, perfect. Okay, well, now within it we want to show these things. Okay, now container can definitely take a child. Okay, well, now the child is another container. Well, for now we're going to use container and other container like this, but in future we'll wrap it around list builder. Okay, anyway, so let's do over here column. Now if you take a look, well, if we want to show 2, so that's why we need this column thing, right? Within the container we have this column, and now each column we have rows. Okay, within row this is the first section, this is the second section, but second section is a column again, and this is the third section, right? Okay, so we'll go ahead and do children and do row over here. All right, and within the row, first one is, you can see that this has to be a container, right? Yeah, so we'll do container. Okay, and a container with 50. I'm sorry, I need the list for it. Okay, and container width 50, height 50, and we have decoration and box decoration and border radius border radius, well, we'll do circular, so 25, because we want to make a complete circle. Okay, and we also want to use colors dot green. Okay, that's what we want to use. And now there should be an icon. As you can see, there is an icon there. That's what we want. So there should be a child as icon. So icons dot done, and it should take size, say size 30. Okay, now let's go ahead and give it a shot. Well, it's there, right there. Okay, well, now the color is black, so we don't want it. We want a different color, so we want colors dot white. Perfect. Okay, all right, so we're done with the first part, right? Yes. Now it has some problem. It's too close to the top and left. So what we could do, we could do margin. Okay, so const edge only, say top 15, left 20. I think we're good. Yes, and well, for now we're good. So let's take a look at this design. So this is a row. The first one is a container, which is showing this one, and the second one is a column. So that is a column. Okay, now definitely we have text over here. So as you can see, this two text, right? So we can copy paste the earlier text we had, and over here we do can gen power. Well, it's too big, so we want 16, and the color is ID color, which is gray color in our case. All right, now let's save it and see the result. Yes. Now we can copy I think we don't want ID color here, I'm sorry. We want the main color, which is green, so a little blue. Okay, now copy the text and put it right there. Now here say ID for whatever you want. Okay, yeah, and now in this case the color is dot ID color. Okay, perfect. And we also want a distance, so we do sized box. Now we can do height over here and set 10. Okay, so top and bottom has this distance, but it's too close to this container. Okay, so this is the container. Over here we can also do sized box. We would do width, say 10. Okay, it's looking better. But now we want the column to start from the beginning, so we do cross-axis alignment dot start. Okay, now they're aligned, right? Okay, perfect. So we are done with this section, and next we want to show this price over here. So we'd copy this one. We'd create a space first. So we'd do sized box, say height. So this should be width though. Say 50. 50 is too much. 20 is okay. All right. And now we want to show this text over here, and how to do that. So what you could do, you can maybe say copy this one and think about it. Copy this one and put it right there. Now let's see the result. Okay, well, now we don't want that bold, so it's bold over here. We want, say, W400. Okay, and we should be good. I'll see it. Yeah. Okay, like that. But of course, this is a $sign, so because we're dealing with money. So 1248.00. Okay, we're good. Maybe do 700. Okay, perfect. But now I want it to come down, but coming down is not gonna work like that. So what do? We'd put this one in another column. Column will have children. Now within it, we'll have this text. Of course, you'd say no change. But now here, I'll copy it again one more time. So we'll have two text, right? Yes, but the first text, actually we can keep it empty, apply nothing, but it'll still occupy some space because it's nothing. This nothing, it means there is something. Okay, and we can also apply a bit of spacing over here. So we do sized box, say height, say 5 pixel. Or if you're not happy with this, you can also do 10. Okay, yeah, it looks much better now. Okay, now as you can see, after each of them we have a divider. So let's go ahead and create a divider. Okay, so where to create this divider? Let us do this row over here. So after end of each row, we'll create a divider. So we do divider, and here we just say thickness equal 2. Okay, now let's say it. Well, we don't say it. Most probably we also need to apply color to it, right? So colors.gray with opacity 0.5. We are not saying this. I think the reason is it's in the wrong place. Let's see. So this is the container, and this is our column, and this is the first row. After first row, hopefully we want to use it. Now let's say it. Yes, it's there. Now we can see. All right. Now you can also deal with this bottom. Let's see here. This container, we can just put over here a bottom padding, a margin. Let's see. Maybe it would help us. Yes. Now it's looking much better. But definitely, what we could do, we could just go ahead and copy this one and put it there, and we'll see it 2 times. Okay, but we don't want to do it like this. As I said, that we want to do it using a list builder. Okay, well, now to do that using a list builder, you need to wrap your container around list builder widget, as we did earlier, ListView.Builder. Okay, and once again, it takes a function. Okay, so we'd copy this one and cut it. Now over here, it takes a function in its item builder, So function takes two parameters. First one is context, but we are keeping it empty. Second one is index. We can pass index now, but for now the index is not useful. We'll use that in later once we import things dynamically. Okay, now let's go ahead and run it. Now this is infinitely scrollable list. Okay, so first thing we could do, we can mention the item count. So maybe in our case 3. Let's save it. Now we'll have this 3, just 3 of them. Okay, but now the old problem appeared, this extra top padding. So we can remove that. So we use MediaQuery.of context. Sorry, I think I messed up. So let me undo what I've done. MediaQuery.of context. Okay, I think MediaQuery.removePadding, this one. Okay, very good. And it takes properties, remove top, true, and just use the context and context. Let's see, yes. Within this, after this, the top padding should be gone. Now we have this 3 of them. Okay, perfect. It's working. So next we want to work on this thing where we show the total amount. Okay, now let's see where we are showing the total amount. So let's get organized, don't get lost. So over here, so this is our main column, remember? So this is the main column which is holding everything. So now over here we want to show this, but before we show this we can use a sized box. So we'll do sized box. Over here we'll do height 0.05. So it'll make sure that we are responsive based on design. Now we'll have a column for this too. Okay, so we'll do text over here and we'll do total amount. I think I'm making the old mistake. So here we need this children, and then we copy paste this one, and then we do style, text style, font size, say 20, and color, appcolor.id color, which is gray. Let's save it, set and run it. Okay, we get an error because this sized box is too big. So now the error is gone. So that's why I want to make it responsive. Anyway, so now let's go ahead and copy this one. And over here, we could say something like this. So random amount. $2840000, and font size set 30, and color is main color. Okay, let's save it and see the result. Yes, and I think we could use font weight. And we also do a size box here. So do height 10. Yes, it's looking much better. Well, next we'll see how to use these 2 buttons over here. All right. But before we go ahead and do the button, I think we also need to create another sized box over here. So this distance, right? So we'll just copy paste. and instead of 05 we do 13, and now over here we do this one. But you understand that this is a row format, right? A row section. So we'll do row over here now, and we'll have children. Now this button, we already have worked on this. Okay, so all we need to do, go ahead and call the buttons. Do you remember we have this app buttons, like coming from here, app buttons? So this one, okay, app buttons. And the icon, what is the icon name? So icons.share. So this is the icon we want to use, share sharp. And it also has on tap event, I remember. So we'll send on tap event, but this is empty for now. And do remember that there is also a text over here. So we'll do text, and the text name is share. Yes. And what I'll do, I'll just go ahead and copy this one. Oops, I'm sorry, and put it there. Now this second icon is printing. Print, let's see, print outlined, and we'll call it print. Now let's save it and see the result. Wow, amazing. So our buttons are there in a row, and we can, I guess, create a bit of spacing between them. So we do sized box, and we do height. So h 0.02, 0.002. Now let's see. No, sorry, this is not height, this is width. Okay, they have this spacing, but I think we can do actually a little more spacing. Perfect. But now we want them to start from the center, so we do main axis alignment because we are in a row. So this is the main axis alignment. Do main axis alignment dot center. Perfect. So it's working pretty well, and I think here we could do 4. Yes, perfect. Okay. Yeah. Well, now the other thing is that this button over here. Actually, for this button, we have already done the work. So let's go ahead and do 6. Yeah, I think this is looking better. Now for the button itself, here I think we have done the work because we already built the button previously. So over here, first we would do sized box. I would do height, and we do h 0.02. Okay, and I think here, let's see, within this, we don't want this one actually. Pretty much this has nothing to do with height. Let's see what's happening here. That's because of this one. Okay, fine. Now what we'll do, we will go ahead and call this app button here, app large button. So this one. So the only thing is mandatory is the text, right? So first we'll do the text. All right, let's go and save it. Perfect. So it's already there. Now do remember that we can also use background color. So we use background color, colors dot white, and we'll also have text color, colors dot, I think for text color we'll use app color dot main color. Okay, now let's go and save it. Perfect. Okay, so it's working. Now the font size, let's see, maybe it's too big. So let's go ahead and find our widget, which is large button over here. Looks like we don't have text size over here, so maybe we could do 30. Yeah, I think it's better. But now we want to click on this and go back to the previous one. How to do that? And do remember, like here we had this one, so we want to click on here and go to that page and come back. So we'll use a package once again, getX package. Okay, this is super easy to use. We do get. Let's update your file. Let's see. Yeah, it's loading. It's done. Okay, now to use getX package, your material app should be get material app, but of course you need to import the library. So do package get Dart. Perfect. Now once you click on pay bills, you want to go to a new page, right? Okay, so let's come over here and find our pay button. This is the pay button. Do remember that this button takes on tap event. Okay, so here we want to use on tap and we want to send the tapping event. So what is the tapping event? We want to go to a page, get to where, so get to payment page, this one. All right, and let's see, it's asking you to import the library, so let's go ahead and import it at the top. Package get Dart. Okay, perfect. Now let's see, we still have an error because we need to use semicolon. Okay, now let's save it and click on this, so it takes you to this page. Now once the payment is done, you want to go back. Okay, so let's go back. So where is our payment page? This is our payment page. So this is the app button, large button over here. We want to create on tap event, so we are passing it. Now we want to get dot back. That's all we want to do, and semicolon. And I think we also need to import the package, so we do package Dart. Let's save it. Now click on this, go back, click here, come to this page, click on this, go back. Now let's check on this one. So everything else is working. You click, it's gone, go back. Well, now we are done with the static part. Next we'll see how to connect this thing with the payment section, where you do actual payment, and at the same time you should get this data from back end. Okay, so this should be next part. So the next part should focus on the payment, actual payment, and the back end data. So stay tuned.